I think there is this fundamental belief that something will happen to me where I have no contribution. And no matter how much data, statistic, reason, logic you bring to this table, this does not seem to work. Okay, just to give you a slightly dark example, because hey, okay, look,
Dr. Dark.
the statistic is that everybody on earth will die at some point. This is a given, correct? Now, most of the people on earth today still die of old age. Right? It's not like 60% of the earth's population dies in catastrophes and crashes and some nasty thing happens to them. This is not the reality of the picture, right? So if you imagine that there's, let's say, 1 million people watching us right now, so that's 1 million and 2. Chances are there'll be like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people in this entire group who will have what you might call a gruesome end. Everybody else will have illnesses and they'll deal with it and all of that and eventually die of old age. So the statistical chance something will happen to you without any of your input, the probability is very low. But that is the primary reason why they are defending the 5-star car purchase. They're not saying we don't buy your logic. We are saying I'm scared of the idea that something will happen to me. And in that situation, I need the passive safety to work for me. They are forgetting that the statistic is good drivers tend just not to have crashes at all. And that's a very powerful statistic. But the effort to learn that skill, to put in the effort, we are fundamentally a lazy civilization. We've done a lot of hard work to make sure we don't have to do hard work. You know what I mean? Like I like to say I'm proactively lazy. And I know it sounds like I'm complimenting myself, but this is actually my mindset, right? I'd be like, oh my God, there's so much work tomorrow. I'd do it right now. And I'll slog today so that I can free up tomorrow. And tomorrow, of course, I'll wake up and say, man, there's so much work day after. I will do it now. And so I never get free. But in my mind, I am a lazy person, so I'm pushing so hard. But we are primarily the civilization that does the opposite. So will you put in the effort to learn to drive? No, you won't. You'll say, listen, I'll just give extra money. They'll give me 2 extra airbags. They'll give me a crash structure. We are good. We are 5-star. Whether that car meets 5-star by aiming to pass the test rather than protect the occupants, screw that. It's not important.
See, okay, I'm sorry, but the problem for me right now with this conversation is that I'm seeing more and more that people treat their driving all the more callously because they're in a 5-star car.
Yeah.
And I'm noting this on the road on a regular basis. So the entire idea that because you're in a 5-star car, you are safer is allowing them to be more distracted, to be more careless on the road. And that is not okay. And that is absolutely not okay. And that is also the idea that when somebody's in an SUV, I can get away with stuff. Why? I mean, do the same rules not apply to you?
But that's what they bought the SUV, not the sedan, no, so they can lord it over other people. Why? How can you not understand this? I didn't buy the SUV because ground clearance, off-roading, and no. I bought the SUV because, hey, I'm bigger than you, now you get out of my way.
It's somewhat.
Am I right?
It's somewhat like the luxury car thing. I always feel like a luxury car changes who you are. When you're in a luxury car, you end up being a little bit.
You appear to change. You don't actually change who you are. That's the best part.
But how you behave.
You know how they say money can't buy you class? Money can buy you an S class.
That's the thing. When people are in a luxury car, they suddenly seem to be a little bit more arrogant. They seem to be uncaring. Because I don't think it's because they intend to be uncaring or arrogant, but actually they're scared about their car. And in SUVs, it might not be that sentiment, but the effect is the same. The outcome is the same.
Yep.
You're not being nice to the people around you. And that's why for me, SUVs, in many ways, there are more and more SUVs, but like even today on the highway, small SUV, hogging the fast lane, doesn't give a crap about who's coming up behind, what speed he or she was doing, but sitting there pleasantly, unbothered, in complete rain. For your safety, get off. This is on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, and you get a lot of standing water towards the median.
Yeah.
Get out of there. You don't want to be there. Unbothered.
Again, look, I think we are still at the stage as a society where a lot of people are seeing money for the first time. They're expressing themselves by showing a show of status, as it were. And one of the ways to show status is to have a slightly larger car. And honestly, most SUVs do look larger than a sedan. And we are tuned to think that it's larger, so therefore it is more expensive. So there is a subliminal game that is being played. I'm going to say that a few of these will evolve from here. They will have this taste of their status thing, and then they will say, no, but I think sedans are better, and it will be a minority for the longest time possible.
Yeah.
There's no getting away from it. But what you're asking for is more etiquette and politeness and more awareness as a driver. That, I think, has to first do with our licensing structure. It has to do with our education structure. We have to teach our children that being patient and nice is important to you being a good citizen of this country.
Mhm.
Until it starts there and gets inculcated, how will you do it? Remember this: the guy hogging that lane in the SUV, his child is also going to hog the lane in their SUV 10 years from now or whatever, because this is what the family is teaching them to do.
Mhm.
Behavior change. And behavior change is slow. Behavior change is important, but it is slow. We've discussed this before. I've also already said I believe India will be as good or bad as anybody else on earth, and we will be as polite and well behaved, etc., as a group. But we are 4 generations, 5 generations from that. If our generation of parents, people our age, are making sure that the children understand how a good society is created, how we preserve vibrancy, how we preserve the idea that you can have an opinion, I can have an opinion, doesn't mean we are enemies. And if we can build this structure out, then 4 generations from now will be a better place. Until then, you're going to see this. There's no way around it.
If you don't like opinions and opinionated people, then my recommendation is do not head to the MotorInc channel, because you're 100% going to get a clear shot at what we are thinking, and our hope is that it'll help you. So choose wisely.